Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I've got 3 replays in the Mercenary Tier 9 Premium Light Tank, the Teef Breaker. Now if you do like the video, as always, don't forget to like and subscribe down below, as it really does help out the channel. And yes, the Teef Breaker, it is one of the Warhammer 40,000 collaboration vehicles. It's an STB1, but made into a light tank. It's got this funky little 30mm gun, or that's the caliber of it at least. And it's also got the turbo mode of the wheelie boys. So it doesn't work like the CS63 or the Cobra T54. It works more like an EBR 105 or an EBR 90, etc. Those wheelie boy type of turbo, where you don't have a downtime when you press left on your D-pad. All you'll notice is that your tank will get faster, but your gun handling will become atrocious. And then when you're back in the normal fight mode, you'll get slower, but your gun handling gets better. That's the turbo mode in the old Teef Breaker. And like I say, it's got this weird 30mm gun, which, as you can see, fires very, very fast. But it does very little damage per shot. And to be honest, this tank really isn't my cup of tea. I don't particularly like this vehicle because I feel like I'm outclassed by pretty much most of the Tier 9 lights. And then if I want to do damage, it takes a wee while to actually get the damage out. It's a pure meme tank. That's what it is. The Teef Breaker is a pure meme tank. You can have those memes, and occasionally it'll work. And you'll have those games where you can keep dropping clips, and it's really satisfying to keep watching that damage rack up. But on the whole, it's pretty awkward to use, and majority of the time it doesn't like working, which can be super duper frustrating. And when you're in situations like this, you don't get the opportunity to auto load, you just get the chance to fire once, which then you do that measly 80 damage per shot, which can be, yeah, super frustrating, but there we go. And for the cost of 13 to 14k gold, yeah, and you don't really get any bonuses for it, it's a bit of a pricey one for a tank that's just not that great, honestly, unless you like the meme value, pretty much, because it is a meme machine. It is that, for sure. So, with the Teef Breaker, we've got a 62km/h top speed, with a 24km/h reverse speed, 880 horsepower engine, and we have 35.37 horsepower per ton ratio, which means we fly up to 62. This thing is a pretty speedy boy. And reverse speed is pretty good at 24 as well. Now, if you were to press left on your D-pad, and bear in mind your accuracy gets worse when you press left on the D-pad, so it's a lot harder to hit shots on the move, etc., but you get much quicker. So your speed when you enter that turbo mode, or that drive mode, or whatever it's called, is 76km/h top speed. So you go from that 62 to 76 when you enter that mode. It's a massive buff to your top speed, and you have a 28km/h reverse speed in that mode as well. And then you've got 48 degrees a second hull traverse, which means this tank does turn pretty damn quick on its tracks. Ground resistances that don't really hold the tank back whatsoever, to be honest. You've got 265 meters of steel concealment, and the same as on the move as well, naturally, as you are a light tank, which is pretty good. It's pretty good camo, but it's also not as great as some of the other light tanks as well, and you are as big as a house. So the moment you do get spotted in this vehicle, it can be, well, it can go downhill very, very quickly, as you're not that hard to hit, quite frankly, as you are just an STB1. You got 499 meters of view range though, which is pretty good, and that will help you spot for yourself very, very easily in the Teef Breaker. It's just about when you're getting spotted and stuff like that. You got 45.61 degrees a second turret traverse, which is slower than the tracks, so bear that in mind. That could be something that could be a bit frustrating for you. 0.47 accuracy during rotation is pretty damn good on that accuracy during rotation. It means that when you turn the tank, the aim circle doesn't bloom out that much at all. And you do have a 1.75 accuracy during movement, which isn't that great for saying we've helped it out as much as humanly possible. But to be honest, it means the aim circle still doesn't bloom out that much at all, even when you are fully on the move. But bear in mind, again, if you press left on the D-pad and go in the turbo mode, that accuracy during rotation and movement becomes a hell of a lot worse, and that aim circle becomes huge, as you've just seen as I move into that mode. Perfect timing, eh? So we're up to 1.57 second aim time as well on the Teef Breaker, which means it does aim in very, very quickly, which is glorious for the vehicle. You got 15 shots in the clip with a 0.4 second intra clip, which means it spits the bullets out very, very quickly in this vehicle. With a 0.31 accuracy, it means you do hit a lot of the shots when you are fully aimed, but you don't quite get a chance to get fully aimed a lot of the time because of how quick your intra clip is, and with the bloom after firing, etc. You have a 16.61 second reload on the clip though, which means the clip does reload pretty fast, which is nice for Teefbreaka. But you have low penetration, which can be pain, which is why you see me take more premium than I do standard, because you've got 216 penetration on the standard APDS rounds and 236 penetration on the premium APDS rounds. Now the standard APDS rounds is a struggle, especially when you see tier 10 matchmaking most of the time in a tier 9. The 216 really struggles in a lot of games, and 236 still isn't great either, to be fair, which is why, like I say, I carry more premium than I do standard. There are some matchups where I can deal with the 216 pen, but yeah, for the most part, I'm going to be using the 236. We've got 1265 meters a second shell velocity on that standard APDS round, and if you were to load the premium, you also have 1320 meters a second shell velocity, so the premium round is just flat out the best round for the tank. Sadly for the vehicle, it means that you will end up losing a good amount of silver as well when you're trying to do well with it, because you will have to fire that premium to be able to pen shots, and because you don't have any bonuses, naturally, as a tier 9 premium, you don't really make any silver, which can be pain. But yeah, that's what you've got in terms of the velocity. But the velocity at 1320 on the premium is very good, and the 1265 on the standard is pretty decent as well. I mean, you don't have to give too much lead at distance to be able to hit your shots. It's just one of those things that you've got to acclimatise to the gun because of how fast you fire, and that when you're firing at range, you have to keep the gun moving and keep the lead going, as it can be super deceiving at times when you are trying to lead those shots as to where the shells are going to be going, because of the animation almost of the way that the shells come out the gun and how fast they fire as well. So what do I run in terms of a crew and equipment on this vehicle? Well, I run a very typical light tank setup for the tank. I run Born Leader, Rapid Reload, Sixth Sense, Situational Awareness, Camouflage Expertise, Muffled Shot, Steady Aim, Snapshot, Run and Gun, with the optics, the gun stabilizer, and the camo net. Camo net to get it down to 265 meters of still concealment, so I can have some sort of concealment, because if you don't help it with the camo net, you will get outspotted all the time. Gun stabilizer to keep that accuracy during movement and rotation down as low as possible, so I'm always ready to fire this gun, as it's nice to be able to keep the shots flowing, as you have to fire a lot very quickly. So if your accuracy during rotation and movement and all that good stuff isn't that good, you're going to struggle to even hit the targets. And optics to be able to get that 499 meters of view range. All three gun perks for the same reason I've just said about the gun stabilizer. We really want to make this gun as good as it can be, with the camouflage expertise to make the camo generally better on this vehicle, so alongside the camo net. So again, we can scout if we want to and stay unspotted, with the muffled shot to try and reduce the effect of firing on our camo, which should already be fairly low because it is a 30mm gun as well. And by doing that, hopefully we should be able to take positions where we can fire at people and not get spotted that easily. So that's what we hope for in the Teefbreaka. So as you can see in this first game, we've ended up with 1939 damage, sorry, with 1910 assistance damage. Not the best game in the universe. And we just went, you know what, screw it. I'm going over on that Grill 15. I just want to eliminate him. We finished him off. We've now got the rear of the VZ55. And sadly, one shot went low, one shot hit the engine deck and ricocheted, and we didn't get any extra pens on that. But we finished with the victory, the 2 kills, 1939 damage for that 1436 base XP. We ended up getting 2.4k assist nearly as well with the Scout Medal, the second class. Fairly average game there for the Teefbreaka, and I think that game showed how awkward this tank can be, but when you just don't get the situations you want or need to be able to auto-load out in this tank to be able to just do damage or be any sort of effect on the game. We managed to get a little bit of assistance. We got spotted really easily, and every time someone went, yes, I'm going to shoot you, they hit us with ease, you know. Like I say, this tank can be a frustrating tank, and it's not one that I do enjoy playing that much at all, to be perfectly honest with you. So we're on to this second game, and on the second game we are here on this map, which is Kasserine. And on Kasserine, what I want to do is go to this little ledge over here, so I can try and spot anyone that crosses down the B line, and I might get some cheeky shots into their side. We've also got a light tank friend that's come down this way, so we can help them out if we want. And this is where we're going to try and lead the shells into this 13105. As you can see, when it's auto-loading, it can be a bit deceiving as to where the shells are going to go. You feel like you're going to be hitting it with the lead you're giving, and then all of a sudden the shells are landing behind them, or they're landing in front of them, and you think they're going, what? This is inconsistency at its finest. But there we go. So I switched into the turbo mode so that I could get after that light tank and help my T100LT friend, but there's a Centauro 45T back there, and I decided, nope, I'm not going to go do that, as I actually figured that 13105 would lead us both straight into the Centauro, and that wouldn't be a good time, because who knows what else is back there, right? But I'm going for the reload, and I decided, okay, you know what? No, we've just got to get in. We've just got to get in and help this 13105. Well, help this 200 LT get rid of the 13105, but he shuts him down. We're going to YOLO. Why not? That Centauro 45T, with where the 200 LT is, there doesn't seem to be anything else over here anymore. We may as well just go in, get the Centauro 45T out, and YOLO past him. I've pinged the T100 to go help me. We'll catch this guy out, go for the assassin play, start the auto-loading into him. The 200 LT puts a shot in, which means we can finish him off with the last shot in our clip, or one of the last shots in the clip anyway. We finish off that Centauro 45T. We're up to 1836 damage, and we see the next target. Isolated targets are king for this vehicle, especially when they don't have a turret. And Mr. Minotauro is going to know this pain, as the 200 LT's already spun him round. So we come over the ridge, start the auto-loading process, get up alongside him. We were going for that track in the hope that we might track and pen him. We keep moving because we spotted a medium tank at the back, which I didn't want to end up taking a hit from. And the Ruthless slams the Minotauro with his 183mm of pain and gets rid of him, which, yeah 183mm of pain does that. You don't like taking 183mm of pain. So we've done the flanky flanks, and we are behind the enemy team now that are in the valley, so we're going to get some shots into this Rogel Dawn, who is a bit of a pain for us to be able to pen even side on with the 236 penetration, because of the awkward angles that we can hit on the side of his tank in the little turret side gun things that he's got on there. But with a lot of their team down in that dip, we should be able to get shots down onto them, and it'll be pretty awkward for them to get shots at us. Say hello, Mr. 4005. Which, by the way, we've ricocheted a few shots off. Really? Okay. We're up to 3.9k damage. I'm just seeing if I can get a shot into them down below, but I can't find it. There's an AVRE down there, and I kind of wish I'd just waited with the extra 2 shots to put into him. But we're going to wait for our reload to come in so that we can go for that AVRE. And then my next play in my brain is to then push to the other side of the little ledges over at E7 area, and then get up behind people like this 705A. But I was just seeing if I could catch them out, and no dice, no bueno, no nothing. They are looking this way. They can get their gun up on target. I'm not going to bother with that. So we're going to boost into the turbo mode, and we're going to get up on the little ledges over here and try and shoot down on the backs of these heavy tanks, as they could be a free farm of damage for me, especially with my whole team in front of them. I don't feel like they're going to turn around and shoot me with every other tank in front. So we get up behind the 705A. We're going for the awkward shot down onto him. Can't quite find the gun depression. Oh no! We slip off onto the ledge. Oh dear, this is awkward. He hits us. We have still the back of the other 705. You know what? I'm going to take the opportunity. I'm now stuck. So this is me. All I can do is hope that the 705A gets shut down before he kills me, and thankfully my team manage it. Still waiting on the reload. Hopefully get a couple more shots into the 705A. That would be great in this very awkward position that I've managed to get myself into. But thankfully, he dies, and we didn't end up killing ourselves there, which is great. It's glorious. My driving sometimes, you know. We finished with the 1 kill, the first class, the Confederate, for that 4.9k damage, 1697 base XP. And that showed the threat of the tank and the meme value of the tank. When you do catch people out and they are all alone, and you can drop clips like that, it can be great. It just doesn't happen very often, and like that first game was the perfect example of it, where you take up loads of positions, you sit there going, where am I going to get the chance to get the shots in, and you come out with a game that you go, that really wasn't that good, and by tier 9 standards, that was, yeah, you know. But anyway, we're on to the third and final replay, and we are in perfect matchmaking. We've got top tier, we're against tier 8s, which means the standard rounds we don't have to struggle with too badly. We've got a good map for it, which means we can catch people out left, right, and centre, get good flanking shots. So we've gone into the turbo mode, and we're just going to go and try and spot the people as they cross the AB line. Maybe get a cheeky shot in or two, who knows. I see the Batchat 12T, and I'm very tempted to go for the Batchat 12T. But in fact, we got shots at a Ho-Ri and a T30. So I'm just going to take the opportunity to get a couple of shots into these guys, but I don't want to take a big hit from either a Ho-Ri or T30. So as soon as they start looking my way, I go straight into my reload, and Brave Sir Robin ran away. That's because a lot of my team haven't got here yet, and that's because we're just so quick. But now we're nearly reloaded. I want to see if I can get any more shots at those TDs at the back, maybe spot them, maybe get some shots into the BZ-176 as well. I see the Huntsman over in the distance in a perfect place. We spot the IS-32 as well, and that Huntsman is in a perfect place for his tank. He can use his 10 degrees of gun depression there, shoot down the zero line quite easily, and it's going to be quite difficult to root that guy out and be able to get penning shots. Same as it is to be able to get shots at this IS-32, who does manage to catch a shot at us. We did see the double barrel coming in there, so thankfully for us, that shot on the second one went over us, so we only lost one shot of damage. We managed to ricochet him off our upper plate. I'm very lucky there. I shouldn't have poked to ever look at that guy, but there we go. We see the T-30 on the corner, and I want to try and bait him round this corner, which he ends up doing. Takes a few hits, meaning we can finish him off with our little clip. Just looking to see if I could possibly get a shot to pen this Ho-Ri, but nope, no dice. Okay, just not going to chance taking a huge hit off that man. Well, I say huge, you know, 600 alpha. Is it 650 on the Ho-Ri one? Yeah, I don't want that at all. So we pop the reload, boost it with food so that we reload it even faster than the 16.61 seconds. If I can get round and get shots into the side of this Ho-Ri, that would be great. But he fires, takes some hits from my team, like the Kurovets one who finishes him off, which means this BZ-176 on the other side is kind of lonely. But we noticed the Batchat 12T, and I decided I'm not really going to be able to do too much to that BZ-176 yet, but maybe I can find shots into this Batchat 12T, who's being a little bit aggressive. So I boost into the turbo mode, get up to that 70-odd kilometre an hour top speed, get out of it again so I can fire my gun. Oh, we missed the ramming speed! But we're going to go for these auto-loading shots, as we do end up tracking him in place. And we'll put ourselves up to 1132 damage with 2 kills and 212 assistance damage. So we're now trying to think, what do I want to do? Because they're still in a strong position. There's a BZ-176, which I don't particularly fancy taking a large hit off. But we do have to clear this flank because, well, we want to win the game, right? So I'm thinking maybe, if I push into the middle area around the F5 location, I could possibly get shots into the rear of the BZ-176, spot any campers along the 2 line, especially with my 2 heavy tanks pushing up the HJK now. But then, once we've derailed this BZ-176, we can actually push the other flank. So I'm seeing if I can get any shots at the IS-32. I can't quite find it. The BZ-176 is tracked in the open, and we're just going to see if we can poke and find any snipers, because there's still a lot of tanks left alive. And there we go. We find one TD who is in the little castle area. It is a Roswell, so we're just going to take the opportunity to get as many shots in as possible. Oh no, we tracked the Roswell as well, hoping to get a next track in, but don't manage to track him again. But we got a lot of shells into that guy. We're up to 2.2k damage, and we've re-damaged Zamorak as well, by the way, which is that poor guy. Damaged Zamorak, tracked him, he's sitting there going, no, my health. Well, I'm pulled back and safe. Nope, no, you're not, sir. We've only got 11 shells left in this clip, but we are now behind the BZ-176. So we keep the shells flying in, put him down to a one-shot for pretty much my whole team, get ourselves safe behind this building so we can't be shot by anyone that's over there in the position that I've just pinged, because, well, naturally, I don't want to take that hit. We don't want to get shut down at this point. We're at 3.1k damage. We're having a pretty good game. But we instantly get detected again the moment I was going to poke round that corner, which tells me there is still definitely people over there in that position where the Roswell was and along that 2 line. So, again, we want to get into a better flanked position to find shots at this IS-32, as it helps my team progress if we can do it. We find the shots, put 2 in, and we finish off that IS-32 with the 2 shots straight through his side. But with my team now progressing aggressively down this ABC line, I want to get ahead of them. As a light tank, I want to get ahead of them, use my 499 meters of view range, spot anyone that do camp at D2 or at the little house over there. I'm going to try and avoid going into the cap by skirting around it, because I don't want to alert anyone to my presence as of yet. And we're going to see if there's anyone over this little ridge as well, because people do like to sit here. So I just skirt the cap. As you can see, I am not going in that cap. I do not want to alert them to my presence at all. And that's something that people do too often when they do come down this B line, is they'll go straight in the cap. People go, oh no, my cap, and they'll come back and try to dispose of you before you're even ever ready to try and get shots into them. Whereas when you can catch them unawares like this, you can do alright. Although that Kiravet's one was looking our way perfectly fine, which I sit there going, why? And Mr. Brass comes over and double taps us as well. Disastrous, really, because we could have done with all those hit points, as we're now a one-shot for that Barask if he decides to absolutely YOLO us, and we're a one-shot for a lot of the vehicles on the enemy team as well. We get detected, and that was by the Rhino, but we get unspotted just in time to not take a hit. Can't find any shots at the A and BT, and we've found the Barbarian Hordes. They are sitting in the little castle area. So I'm going for shots into the cupola of the Rhino. I get hit by a Hei-Chi shell, which I'm assuming was the Kiravet's one firing Hei-Chi and not APCR, which means that I am super duper fortunate, or in fact, it could have even been this BZ-176 firing Hei-Chi. But I wouldn't say so if I had AP, which means that, yeah, we got super duper lucky that we're still alive. But we'll take it. We're up to 3.8k damage with 212 assistance damage, and we're just trying to get into a better position to shoot these guys than where we were, because we were very out in the open, and it was actually getting quite easy for people like the Kiravet's to get shots at us. So as I went to poke around the corner, we ended up spotting the Kiravet's one, get a shot into him, but that's the kind of situation, again, where this tank really does suffer. In those situations where you only get the chance to fire one, you just hit someone for 80 damage, they might hit you for 390. Yeah, that's the pain of Teef Breaker, because we just didn't get the chance to keep going. The Kiravet's one shuts down the Teenage TVZ-51. That BZ-176 looks hungry. He looks hungry for Teef Breaker. He wants some orc flesh, and I don't want to give him it. So we're on the run away. But we go out the turbo mode because we're nearly reloaded, and we are behind this Hydra who has already fired. And we set him on fire with the first shot. Glorious scenes, killing the Hydra there, putting us up to 4.5k damage. Can we get him behind the Rhino here to shut him down? Oh, dead Rex in the way, but thankfully we do manage to get the shot in. We're going to go straight for the reload. Why? Because, yeah, I could shoot the BZ-176 with 2 or 3 rounds there, but I may as well just go for the quick reload, which I'm going to get in because it is a very fast reload. Get a full clip into this BZ-176. And just fully boost up our damage. And as we've just seen, he's blown up the Kiravet's, which means we're definitely going to be able to get round him without taking a hit. We get up behind this BZ-176, aiming for the back of his turret. Why? Ammo racks are there. Put him down to 146 hit points, meaning he's a one-shot for the rest of our team, and the Motherland ends up finishing him off. No Top Gun for us, sadly, but still a very, very good game there for the Teef Breaker, which, like I say, can be a very awkward tank. As we finished the game with 5 kills, 5.5k damage, the ace tank of the high caliber, with that 1857 base XP. Really great game there for the Teef Breaker, which, like I say, is a pretty awkward tank, and it's pretty damn expensive for such an awkward tank as well. So as always, everybody, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.
A great success.